Hey guys, part two of the projections breakdown for the Rip and Time League. This one will be the Brown Conference. Hopefully, I can make this one a bit shorter than what the Lambeau one was. Sorry, got a bit carried away there, I think. All right, so first team off the bat. If you've watched any of the other one yet, I'll go over it. The offensive projections have come from about half a dozen experts, supposedly experts anyway, in the fantasy landscape. I've just gone through and created the average score of what that would be for each offensive position, and basically dragged the highest scores from those projections into the starters for each team. Defensively, there was only a couple of options to get the points from, so it was obviously a bit quicker than what the offense was. It probably wasn't actually. It was probably a lot more detail had to go into getting the defensive points. So, all right, let's try and make this a bit faster this time. First team off the bat, once again, it's my team, Dayton Triangles. Probably the team I was okay with it, but not particularly. I didn't think it was a great team or anything. Couple of things I would have done differently, especially early on in the draft. In hindsight, I even thought that after about 5 or 6 rounds, I probably would have done a couple of things differently. I think I would have been happier with the outcome if I'd have done that. So, all right. Anyway, quarterback-wise, I've got plenty of quarterbacks. This is easily the deepest quarterback room I've got. And maybe I can move that for a piece to make this team a bit better. But we'll see. But Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence, pretty solid starting tandem at quarterback with Baker Mayfield, Aaron Rodgers, and Matt Stafford backing them up. So, there's plenty of depth there. I can withstand an injury here and no problems. James Cook at running back, he's solid. Most of the other backs there are just dart throws pretty much. Receiver room, Mike Evans is pretty solid all the time. Drake London, DJ. I think they're pretty solid 3 receivers really. The industry probably didn't love Deontay Johnson as much as I liked him, and they probably didn't love Christian Kirk as much as I liked him too. So, but I think between him and Hollywood Brown, so I actually felt like I was pretty happy with my receiver room as it turned out. I possibly took DJ a bit early. Even more so think that now after seeing a few drafts go by. So tight end room is disgusting. Although I don't hate Johnny Smith as much as the industry does. I actually think Greg Dulcich will have a solid season too, but I haven't got much there. It's probably a position I need to try and make a move for, but we'll see how things shake out. Defensively, defensive tackle, I really like Barmore, but once again, that injury, or the blood clot thing, I just don't know what his availability is going to be like this season. Javon Hargrave's solid. Jonathan Allen's solid. Devontae White could be really solid too. So, defensive ends. Ooh, gonna sneeze. No. Max Crosby's as good as it gets at defensive end. Gets so many snaps and production. It's crazy. We got Alex Highsmith. Is there possibly? Yeah, hang on. I thought I'd gone through and done all this, but Alex Highsmith, solid producer at the position, but I'm not counting on him as a. Well, I'd say Jalen Phillips will be in there as a starter, but I've got plenty of depth there. I think Alex Highsmith Jermaine Johnson, Boya Mafe, Quiddy Play, Gregory Russo. We've got more than enough depth at defensive tackle to not have to worry about the Jalen Phillips injury, or how quickly he's going to come back from it anyway. Then, what do we got? Alex Anzalone, solid linebacker. And Bobby Wagner, who once again is always solid. CBs, don't care. Safeties, we've got Buddha Baker, Brian Branch, Jaquan Brisker, and Delwyn James as we starters. Josh Metellus is there as a backup, and probably just need to make a couple of moves there to wipe a couple of players out. Jaron Curse won't stay on my team. Tyler Newman could be solid, but yeah. Overall defense is good. Offense is tight end hurts it. So if I had a tight end sort of in that mid range on the team, then it makes this team look a lot better. So anyway. Overall, offensive points 158.29, defensively 239.93, and overall points we got 398.22. Okay, now we go to the New York Bulldogs, which I have a feeling was Dave's. I think Dave. Pretty sure his was the Bulldogs. Yeah, Dave Harmsworth. All right. Solid quarterback room. Goff and Jackson, pretty good starters. Really good starters. Geno Smith, solid as backup. Lamar by week 14 kind of sucks. If you make the playoffs, then you're pretty much missing your best offensive player on a week when it's really going to matter. So, Travis Etienne, Joe Mixon, solid at running back. Puka Nakua, Debo, Devontae Smith, and David Njoku at tight end. Interesting to see how Njoku backs up after last season. He had a big season last year. A lot of that came with Flacco though, so be interesting to see if the Browns can get something going in that passing game, whether Watson can at least have some semblance of a return to relevancy as a quarterback. A good solid offense. Defensively, Osa Diggy Sewer. He's not a bad DT. Projects to probably get a few more snaps this year than what he has done previously. Grover Stewart's always a solid backup. Braden Fisk could be. Defensive ends, really good there. Danielle Hunter and TJ Watt. Not a huge amount of depth behind him. Yaya Diaby's got some upside. DeMarcus Lawrence is just solid at this point. Zadarius Smith is basically the same. Jared Verse got upside. Who knows this year? Linebackers, Divine Diablo, Caden Allison, Zaire Franklin, all graded out as his best options. Not a huge amount behind them. What do we got? DBs and CBs, sorry, not DBs. Safeties, Reed Blankenship, Rayshon Jenkins, Kobe Joseph, all grayed out as his best safety options, and probably are with what's sitting behind them. Marcus Epps is not much of anything. Jimmy Ward can be a solid bye week replacement if needed, but not a lot of depth on the safety position there. Offensively, grades out with 174.91. Defensively, 230.11. and overall 405.02. Pretty solid team. There's a lot. This whole conference is actually pretty close. I think one team jumps out a bit ahead, but I'll go over that at the end. Akron Pros. I've got to be careful here because a lot of these teams match up from our Primetime 2.0 league. I was just about to say that was Joey's team, but it's Steve Stearns. All right. So Steve, possibly a little rough at quarterback. Hard to say. Jaden Daniels is a rookie quarterback. I've got no idea. And Russ is Russ. Like from a fantasy standpoint, you'd much rather Justin Fields out there. He will outproduce anything Russell Wilson does. Purely from fantasy production, possibly not from an NFL production standpoint. Will Levis, I think he's been given as good a chance as he can be given right now to succeed. The Titans have given him some pretty good weapons around him. It's about whether he's good enough or not to take advantage of them. McCaffrey speaks for himself. Been the top running back for a couple of years, and outside of injury, he's probably been the best running back in the league for a few years now. Rashad White's just an average grinder, puts up good points every week, purely out of production more than anything. Tank Dell, I probably like Tank Dell a little bit more than what the industry does. I really like Lad McConkey. I don't think he's one of the best receivers out of that draft, but I think he's landed in a situation that will take advantage of his skill set a lot. I think he will get a lot of catches this year. DK Metcalf, DK's always good. Not a huge amount of depth. Need DeAndre Hopkins back from injury as quick as possible. And not a lot of depth at tight end, so it's not like we can lean on anything there. Kyle Pitts should score well this year, but not much sitting behind him. Defensive tackles, pretty strong room actually. But yeah, Q's his best starter. Need to make a move there, get rid of Shaq Griffin. He's retired now. Defensive ends, Nick Bosa and George Karlaftis, grayed out as his best options. Latu should have a decent season. Andrew Van Ginkel's always pretty productive. Linebackers, Tyrell Dodson, Devin Lloyd, Bobby Okereke, pretty solid. And Gibbons, Jewell, Frankie Louvu should be able to step in as bye-week starters here and there. So a couple might even take over as their main starters too. CBs. Jeremy Chin, Grant Delpit, and I have no idea how this dude says his name. Ifiatu Malafomlu? I don't know. I like him. I actually think his points could actually go a bit higher than what they are being projected at. But time will tell. He looks like he's going to have more of a role up near the line of scrimmage. So, PJ Locke could be a decent backup. Not sure on the others. So, see how it goes. Gilman scored all right last season, but he hasn't. It's not something that's happened consistently. So overall, offensive points 166.45. Defensive points were 221.34. Overall points, 387.79. All right. St. Louis Rams, Steve Hefner. Uh, it's always scary when you look at Daniel Jones and he's one of your starters. Um, but you've got plenty of depth. Daniel Jones, Bo Nix, CJ Stroud, Deshaun Watson will all start this season. So, and Sam Darnold probably starts at least for a while. So, quarterback is not a problem for you. Running back wise, I like Jonathan Brooks, but probably not for at least half of this season. So, Brees Hall, Bijan Robinson, as good as it. Like, if you haven't got McCaffrey, that's your next two best options, pretty much. AJ Brown's a really good receiver. T. Higgins is pretty solid all the time. You pretty much know what you're getting. George Pickens, as long as the QBs can get him the ball, he should score well. Cortland Sutton's a good backup. Rome could be. Not a great deal else there, but running back wise, you got Kenneth Walker, Zamir White. J.K. Dobbins could be a smoky. Austin Eckler could be productive. Yeah. You had enough depth on offense. Not much at tight end, though. Cole Kmet, probably a starter, and not much sitting behind him. Depends on when Higbee gets back, actually. I don't know if Higbee's looking like being back near the end of the season or not. It was pretty gruesome knee injury too. Defensively, your DTs, Justin Matabike, you got Deron Payne, Elijah Cansey behind him, so plenty of depth there. Defensive ends, Aiden Hutchinson, Joey Bosa, great as your starters. Jonathan Cooper's probably your primary backup. Not much there. Dante Fowler could have a solid season for the Commanders, but yeah, time tells there. He's never been an overly consistent producer. Linebackers, we've got Kenneth Murray, Ivan Pace, and Quincy Williams. Great as your best chances. Cody Barton could be a good, solid producer. Jerome Baker could be. Nate Landman might win the job over Troy Anderson. If he does, he's probably solid. And Isaiah McDuffie looks like he's probably going to start as well. So probably all solid linebacker. Well, not big time linebackers, but pretty solid. CBs, yep. And safety. Actually, you've got three corners that look like they're your best producers. Could be interesting. Yeah. Safeties, depends on how bad that injury is to Helms. If he's bad, then it really puts a dent in your depth here. Hooker and McKinney, great as your starters. Brian Cook could be productive. Howden could be productive, but they're all maybes. Overall, 172.65 on offense and 223.83 on defense. 396.48 overall projection. The Houston Oilers, my old buddy Kenny Pierce. Been mates for, God, how long has it been now, man? 35 years. So we met in about grade 8 at school, so it's been a long time. Kirk Cousins, Anthony Richardson, both grade out as his best starting options at quarterback. Gardner Minshew, it's looking like he might not start. I don't know. And JJ McCarthy as your third or fourth quarterback. At this point, you're probably hoping that he gets the job quicker and is your third quarterback. This is where I mentioned about Cousins before. I'd have him much higher. I'd have him in the 22 area, 21, 22 area. Like, it feels really low. I don't know. Barkley, 23. Jameer Gibbs, yes. Tyreek, Jamar Chase, Michael Pittman, that's all pretty solid. Really solid. Not a huge amount of depth behind them. Probably depending on... By the same token, like if Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, Michael Pittman healthy, not on a bye, Gibbs and Barkley, same deal, you're not starting anyone else. That's pretty much your starting lineup. Tight end could be scary. Chig, I actually like Chig. I think he'll have a good year this year. No idea on Ben Sinnott. Zach Ertz, well, you've got one of the starters from Washington. Whichever one it is. Generally, Zach Ertz keeps the young rookie out, so that's probably the way it goes. DTs, you got Danico Autry, who's getting a 6-week holiday at the start of the season. So you're going to need another defensive tackle, mate. Zach Sealer's bye week's going to create an issue there. I'm sure you've got someone here you can drop. Will Anderson, Montez Sweat, you best graded defensive ends, but you have plenty of depth at the position. That will not be a problem. Injuries or anything. You have a mile of depth. Linebackers, Aziz Al-Sha'ir and TJ Edwards, pretty good starters. JOK doesn't grade out as a starter. Matt Milano can be a good backup. Devondre Campbell will probably be a good backup up until Dre Greenlaw gets back from injury. Bob Spillane will be a good backup. So, yeah, you got plenty of depth there. CBs, who cares? Safety, sorry. Jesse Bates had a great season last year. Grades out highly. I would expect a little dip in production. Who knows? CJ Gardner-Johnson, while healthy, always productive. Julian Love, he's always productive. Jalen Thompson, once again, always productive. You got Cam Bynum on the bench with Von Bell. You're in pretty good hands at safety, man. Don't need to do a lot there. Offensively, 176.87. Defensively, 234.17 for an overall grade of 411.04. Probably, I think that's the highest one so far too. So, anyway, there's a high one. Portsmouth Spartans. I can't remember who had this one. I think this one might have been Fabian. Yeah, it was. All right. Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, pretty damn good quarterback combo, mate. You do well to get better than that in a legitimate league where there wasn't a lot of trading. This was the first draft we did. There was not much movement at all. Murray Cooper, Terry McLaurin, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Evan Ingram, Dalton Kincaid, Trey McBride. So you actually grade out with three starters at three starters from your tight ends. Maybe you can package one of them up, make a move, do something. You've got Jalen Waddle sitting there on the bench. Not huge. Christian Watson stays healthy, he can be productive, but he just is never, ever healthy. Devin Achen, Dave Montgomery. So, yeah, pretty good offense, man. Plenty of depth. Defensively, Leonard Williams, Ed Oliver, fine for DTs. Justin Jones and BJ Hill can be productive as well. Oh, Derek Brown, how did I miss that? Probably because it was up so damn high. That will make a difference. All right, so this is probably about... where are we? Probably about 3 points higher for that. Just give me a second. I'll make a quick change. Okay, sorry about that. all fixed. Derek Brown now comes in and changes that around. So, all right. So Derek Brown, plenty of depth at DTs, defensive ends. Grenard, Josh Hines Allen, Carl Greenison as a backup. Nick Benito might be alright and Uchenna Nwosu. So solid depth. Linebacker Terrell Bernard with Patrick Queen, Tremaine Edmonds, Jordan Brooks probably as your primary backups there. Alex Singleton and Logan Wilson also starting. We got corners, whatever. Kevin Byard, Chuck Clark, and Talanoa Funga as your primary starters at safety. Solid depth though with Jabril Peppers, Justin Reed, Brandon Jones probably your primary backup. So good solid team overall. 186.66 on offense, 228.48 defensively for a 415.14 overall grade. The New York Cardex. Now, Dave Malone. All right. Brock Purdy, Caleb Williams, grade out as your best quarterback options. Drake May could be helpful if he gets on the field. Jacoby Brissett should hold down that position in the meantime. Running backs, Isaiah Pacheco grades out as a starter for you. Keenan Allen, Justin Jefferson, Malik Neighbours, Garrett Wilson, Mark Andrews at tight end. Not an insane amount of depth. There's a couple of guys I like. I just don't know. Well, James Conner will be a good solid backup. Possible starter. There's some talk about, I've seen some people spruiking Chase Brown, Zach Moss also. I like Javon Baker. I just don't know if his rookie season's going to be the season where it's going to be relevant or not. I like Noah Fant as a backup tight end. And Dallas Goedert. So you got plenty of depth at tight end, which is probably good because Andrews got the week 14 bye, plus he's often injured. So DTs, you got Buckner, Hayward, Kobe Turner. You got plenty of defensive tackle. No problems at all there. Brian Burns, Matt Judon as your starters at defensive end. Byron Young, Rashawn Gary as your primary backups at defensive end. Linebackers, Ernest Jones, Eric Kendricks, EJ Speed, and Kaiser White all look like being starters for you. I like Blake Cashman this year. I think he'll be productive for you this year. You got the Devin Witherspoon. Kenny Moore's always productive at CB too. So, but Witherspoon's the only one I'm going to mention as a legitimate possible game changer for a cornerback. Safeties, Blackman, Curl, and Antoine Winfield. Your top guys, pretty good. And I think Antonio Johnson will be a good backup for you, possible starter. And Jason Pinnock was solid last year. Yeah. So, solid defense. 174.76 on offensive points production. And 237.54 defense for a 412.30 overall grade. All right. Miami Seahawks. This is Chris Anderson, Fabian's mate. Pretty good at quarterback. You probably can't do much better. Patrick Mahomes and Dak Prescott both will score highly this year. I think Mahomes has probably got the best offensive weapons he's had since Tyreek left. And he's probably got a deeper set of receivers now than he's had. Once again, I come to Kyron Williams, who I don't love, but the industry still loves him. We'll see. He said he might match that production. So Devonta Adams, Brandon Ayuk, you got that contract thing happening at the moment. Who the hell knows? But you got Godwin sitting behind there too. Olave, Calvin Ridley, Mike Williams will be productive for the 3 or 4 games that he's healthy for. Then you got Kelsey and Laporta with Freiermuth as a backup there as well. So you had some depth across the board. Some depth there at running back too between Kamara, Josh Jacobs, and Ramondre Stevenson. So yeah, plenty of depth. Defensively, he's got you starting 2 DTs: Christian Wilkins, Jeffrey Simmons, Harrison Phillips, a good backup. Myles Garrett, Micah Parsons at defensive end is really good. Sam Hubbard should be a solid backup. Hassan Reddick, who knows if he'll even see the field. Looking like a great move by Howie to get rid of him, and a terrible trade for the Jets right now. Nick Bolton, CJ Mosley, good starters at linebacker, with some good backups between Trent Simpson, David Long could be alright for a spot here and there, Jermaine Pratt, and miss Fred Warner. So Fred Warner's in your starting lineup as well. Corners are corners. Safety wise, you've got Kyle Duggar, Javon Holland, and Jalen Petrie. Pretty solid. Just good, solid safeties. Donovan Wilson could be alright as a backup. Xavier Woods does okay as a backup. Most of the others, yeah. Good solid team. Really good solid team. 190-82 on offense. One of the better offenses in the league. And 231-23 on defense. So good solid team for a 422.05 overall score. The Dallas Texans. This is my old mate Devo, Steve Triffett. Yeah, we've probably been mates for about 27 years ish, sort of area. 26, something like that. I don't know. It's up there. Jalen Hurts, Jordan Love. He would have loved picking Jalen Hurts, being the Cowboys fan that he is. Got good backups with Derek Carr and Bryce Young. So very solid at quarterback. No problems at all. Running back room, not good. Receivers. Jordan Addison, Nico Collins, Zay Flowers, and Marvin Harrison Jr. all grayed out as starters. A lot of rookie receivers. And Rashee Rice, who I mentioned before, probably looks like he's going to dodge suspension this year. We never know, though. They can slap that out there whenever they like. Roger will do what Roger wants to do. But between Worthy, Brian Thomas Jr., I could see them having productive rookie seasons. And this is one of the teams that have got Hockenson landing in their starting lineup. Once again, Hawkinson's not playing the first half of the season for sure. So, but Jake Ferguson graded out as the better of the things there. Byron Murphy grades out as the DT. Got Darius Robinson as well. So leaning on some rookies. I think Keon White could have a bigger year than he was projected for too. We'll see. Is Eamon Collins? Surely that is not in your starting lineup. please. Yeah, no, I've just missed deleting that one off. Harold Landry and Khalil Mack as your primary starters at defensive end. Not a huge amount of veteran help there. It'll depend on what Chop Robinson and Dallas Turner can do as rookies. Linebackers, you got Foy. He's always up there. Quay Walker should be solid. Jack Campbell will get better production if he can get some more time in middle. But while Anzalone's starting there, his production is gimped. CBs, yep. Richie Grant, Kyle Hamilton, Harrison Smith, and Jordan Whitehead graded out as starters. They're pretty solid. I love Kyle Hamilton. I think Richie Grant will probably outproduce what he's being projected for. I think Javon Bullard could possibly land into the starting lineup, maybe. I don't say. But it got some depth there. So overall, 169.02 on offense. Just too many rookies there to get a real solid grade on it. And 225.09 on defense for a 394.11 grade. Last team, the Evansville Crimson Giants. My old mate Grunter. Grant Lancaster. Joe Burrow and Tua at quarterback. Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Stephon Diggs, Cooper Kupp, CeeDee Lamb, and George Kittle. The Lamb situation is starting to look way worse than it needs to be. I don't know what's going on there, but Jerry doesn't want to pay anyone, and whatever. Not a huge amount of depth across the offense. So an injury holdout or whatever to an important position could be detrimental. Got some depth at tight end, so it should be fine there. DT, are they both actually in the lineup? Nope. All right. Oops. So, what do we got? Chris Jones as a projected starter. Yep. Bradley Chubb is inserted as a projected starter as well, which probably isn't great, but Clowney could probably put up similar points to what Chubb's been projected for there, so that's pretty close. Jason Oweh, not a great defensive end room. Probably need some attention there. Levante David, Roquan, very good at linebacker. Not much depth though. Corners are solid, so everyone's are. Then you got Minka, Jordan Fuller, Jordan Poyer, and Taylor Rapp at safety, with Jair Brown and Tyrann Mathieu as your backups. It's solid safety room without being spectacular. Offense 180-55. Not much depth though. That could easily one injury, literally just about anywhere on offense, could make that a bit tougher. Really, most it's probably your main backup there. 224.01 on defense for a 404.56 grade. All right. So this is what it looks like overall. We got Chris Anderson's Miami Seahawks on top. Look pretty strong. Then the next two teams are both from the same conference, Oh, it's from the same division. Sorry. So the Houston Oilers actually grade out as the other division winner at 4.11.04. It'll be very interesting to see how this one pans out. To me, there's not a lot between a number of teams actually. Pretty close, like from top to bottom. Like you go from there to there, that's what 15 points in a game for the season, and that's just on projections. You throw a few injuries and bye weeks and stuff into this, and then all of a sudden some of these teams will push up into where these spots are. So to me, there's not a huge amount. I thought this was probably the closest conference out of all of them, top to bottom. So first draft we did too. So yeah, this one was done a long time before the others were done. So anyway, let me know what you think, and I'll be doing another one again shortly. All right, thanks guys.